Hi everyone, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to submit samples online. Most of our kits come with the hard paper copy, so you can fill it out with pen and paper, but this is a little easier, more interactive way to submit samples to us, and it also helps us filter the information through to our database, so it starts getting your samples in line before they've arrived for us here. Our submit sprinkler form is on the right. That's been out there for a couple of years. There's a separate tutorial for that. If you're going to be using our new form, submitting a foam or firefighting foam sample, antifreeze sample, or dry chemical, this is the button you'll use here on the left. It's requiring you to be logged into the website, so if you're not already logged in, it'll ask you to do that. If you're a brand new customer and you've never tested samples with us before, we also have a new customer form that we ask you to fill out so we can get your logistics and where you'd like your billing sent. So if you can contact us if you've never submitted a sample before, so we can make sure to get you in our database. Once you're ready to go ahead and click on the submit. And it'll bring you to the first step, which is our job information. So your job name is a unique name to your job. It could be your job site, your job location, your customer's name, something to remember your job by. It'll also appear on your job report. So I'm going to call this today Dine Foam Samples 2020. And here you have the option to pick either IMO, which is marine foam, or marine applications, or NFPA, which most of our jobs are going to be. If you did choose IMO, there's a spot to add your IMO number, your address line, and this is where the samples were taken from. So you're going to want to add whatever location address that the samples were pulled from. Once you have that information in here, you can complete that and submit the, or click the Edit Kits button. That's going to bring you to step 2, kit information, and this is where we'd like to know what is going to be in your box or your kit. If you do not have a Dine kit or you're using your own box, you would use the Generate Kit Number button, and it'll give you a unique number to write on your box, so we can match up your information when your samples arrive in our office. So if you know your kit number, go ahead and start typing it here. They're 5 digits. If you do not have a kit and you're using your own boxes, click the Generate Kit Number button. So when you click that, that's going to auto-populate a unique kit number unique to this job that you can add to your box. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I will demonstrate a sample of each type of sample that you can submit to us for testing this way, starting with a foam concentration, which is the most common type of sample we receive. I'm going to add 1 sample to my box. So I'm packing up my box, and my first bottle is a concentrate. So I'm going to add that to my box. I'm also going to submit in that same box a foam solution. So we're packing our box, so to speak. In that sample kit, we're also going to add an antifreeze. It's not usually common to have all 3 in one job, but for sample purposes, I'm adding these to my job, and you'll see while I do that, they're populating up here. Also, for sample purposes, I'm going to show you how to do a water. Add that to my box. Now, typically, our kit boxes are 2 bottles or 4 bottles, but for sampling purposes, I'm also going to add a dry chemical sample to this box, just so I can have an example of that for you. So now I've packed my box. I have bottle 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in here, and you'll see they've populated as a foam concentration, a foam solution, an antifreeze, a water, and a dry chemical. Now, to get to the point where you need to give us the information on each sample, you're going to use these buttons that are available to you here to edit. This is an edit button as specified by the icon key. If you need to duplicate a sample, once you've populated your information, this is a handy tool. If you have 4 concentrations, for example, that are all the same, you might want to put in 1, edit the information, give us everything you need to tell us about that, which I'll show you in a minute, and then use the duplicate sample button. That's a real easy way to send in 4 things that are exactly the same. You also have available to you a trash or delete button that removes the sample from your box. And once we've edited the information, then as you'll see in a minute, this complete sample button will be checked. So that'll let me know that sample information is complete. So let's go into our first sample, which is a foam concentrate, by clicking on the Edit button here. And here you're going to want to tell us what the tank was that you pulled it from. Now these are unique. We see all type of things here. You could name it and have a number. You could have a location such as north, south, east, west, whatever you need to do to identify where you pulled the sample from. In this case, for an example, I'm going to use the tank name of North. And here, this is something unique to using this online form. You have a drop-down list now of all the manufacturers of foam that we have in our database. So if you know who made the foam that you're testing, you can go ahead and choose them, and that'll lead you to the product category next, where you can choose that. If you do not know your manufacturer, you're not sure, you can submit or click the not specified button. And if you do that, we'd like to at least need to know what the product is or what type of foam sample it is. In this case, you have options of all your 1%, 2%, 3%, all the way down to 6. And then make sure you're clicking if it's just an AFFF, or if it's an alcohol resistant, to use the AFFF button to specify to us what type of foam sample it is. So for sample purposes, let's just say it's not specified. In this case, you would choose, I'll just go ahead with the top one, the 1% AFFF, unspecified. If you did know the manufacturer, for example, we'll say 3M. That'll give you a list of 3M products we have in our database for you to select, and then you can pick the appropriate sample product. From here, these are optional for sampling point. We have top, middle, bottom, composite, or not specified, so you would choose where you pulled the sample from. And container type, you'll let us know if you know it, what type of container type it came from, or you also have the option of choosing not specified. Also optional here are a lot number. You can enter a lot number if you know it, and you can enter a date of manufacturer system install if you know it. And once all that information is completed in there, you can click the Save Some Sample button, and it'll tell you that this changes were saved. So you say OK, and once you say OK, you'll see that the foam concentration now has a checkbox. If we're moving on to foam solution, I'll give you a quick preview on how you'd enter a foam solution. Now these are samples that are mixed with water. So it's your foam concentrate mixed with water, whether it came from a pre-mixed container that was set aside after it was mixed, or where you're flowing through a proportioner. I'm also going to use this sample of North. I'm also going to say, in this case, it was a 3M product. My sampling point, if I know it, in my container type, my lot number, in manufacturer date or system install. Again, those are optional. You will need to choose for a solution whether you want it tested for percent concentration. Normally that comes through a proportioner, so you're verifying the percent concentration of the mixture, or you're going to test performance, meaning that you just want to know if the foam is up to specs of where it was when it was first manufactured. So if you're providing, if you're testing for percent concentration, we do ask you to provide a concentrate along with that for our testing purposes to mix up our standards. So in this case, you would want to tell us what concentrate sample it goes with. In this case, I'm going to choose 1. Changes are saved. Click OK, and you're going to populate your checkbox there by completing that. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to use our chat button that comes up in the lower right-hand corner. You can also call us at our 800 number. We'd be happy to walk you through this. Antifreeze will give you a quick overview of that as well. Every sample type is a little different, so what we ask for from you might be showing a little different on the screen. For antifreeze, your options are going to be these. Most of the time it might be an unknown type, and we do identify the type for you if we can. So if it's an unknown, you can select optionally the top and some type of tank, and that is populated for you. Once you do get down to your waters, there's a couple type of things, waters that we receive in the office. They are typically you're sampling a shell water from a butter tank, or you're providing a system water to mix up our standards for your percent concentrate testing. If you're checking a shell water, for example, a bladder ripped or you're afraid of bladder leaked, that'd be a purpose for sending in a shell water. Again, these two categories here are optional. I'm going to click the Save Sample button and OK, and that's going to populate my water. And then finally, dry chemical. And fill in the information for that. Manufacturers that we have available for dry chemical are these. If you know it, check it. If you're not sure, click Not Specified, and then tell us what type of chemical you're testing. Again, you'll see this container type is optional, sample name is optional. So you've completed everything in your box, so to speak, or your kit, whichever you're using. Once all of your check boxes are completed, you're going to be able to edit your delivery preferences. In this case, I'm going to say standard processing. Rush processing is available for most of our samples. We ask that you call us ahead just to give us a heads up on those. For your sending results to you, let us know if we automatically email them to you. That's an automatic. But if you'd also like them mailed, please check this box. Just note that there's $15 additional fee for dry chemical test reports. This category is where you'd like the results sent to or mail listed on your email report from. So once you complete this information, you'll be able to move on to the next step. And I'm going to populate that information here. Once that's completed, I can do the edit payment information to move on to the next step. This is where you're going to let us know how you're going to pay for your sample testing, either invoice, a credit card, or if it's a prepaid sample. In this case, I'm going to check the invoice button. If you have a PO number, you can enter it here. And this, once your log data is pre-populated for you from our previous step. Once you've done that, you can move on to your summary, and this is going to let you know a basic summary of everything that you've filled in so far. So here's where you can verify everything you've done up to this point is correct. Once you've verified that, you can click the Save and Submit button. And that returns your order to us. So it sends us an email letting us know that you've submitted this job to us. And it also sends an email to you letting you know that the email came through, look like. So you will get a copy of your information all filled out here. You can keep that for your records. Also note your kit number or your generation number is shown on here, so you can remember to write that on your box for us. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions along the way, feel free to contact us. Like I said, either the chat on our website, our 800 number, email lab@dyneusa.com, and we'd be happy to help you.